This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
So I'm reading an article here on Sky Sports, and it's by a manager of Kubrat Pulev. I don't know if it's the manager, I don't know. He's one and only, no idea. Anyway, this Gotsev guy, he's talking about the Joshua Pulev fight, but of course he's talking about the locations. Where could it possibly be, with Croatia and Britain being the two front runners? There are other options apparently with like Saudi Arabia and other places in and around the Middle East, all these kind of ones. But he is making very good points where he's saying that no matter where it is or when it is, it's safety is paramount. So health and safety is the most important factor in all of this. And I get the impression that Team Pulev, they will prefer the fight to be happening in Croatia at the Roman Amphitheatre, which holds up to about 5,000 people. But of course, they are still talking about social distancing. So I don't know whether or not, because I couldn't quite understand what it was when they're saying about 5,000 capacity. Is it 5,000 with the social distancing, or is it 5,000 without the social distancing? So obviously it'd be way less than 5,000. I don't know. But either way, I mean, to have a fight at a venue like that, I mean, that's historic in itself, isn't it? You know, these guys can say we've fought in a Roman-built amphitheatre, you know? So, I mean, that's interesting in itself. And obviously with people and crowds who potentially can't go in that anyway, especially here in the UK, I don't think too many people would really complain if they're going to be watching it on TV. Does it really matter where it is? Not really. Anyway, among the many things that he's talking about, he mentioned that they have 3 weeks to find a solution. Now, I haven't seen anything, and hopefully one of you guys listening to this video right now may know something. Maybe there's something that I've missed. Maybe the IBF will put out a statement giving these guys a deadline. If they can't come up with a solution within 3 weeks' time, then they're going to revert back to a purse bid, or they're going to force it into a certain location, or I don't know, or they're just giving themselves a 3-week deadline to try and get something sorted. It's really, really unclear as to why 3 weeks. Why is 3 weeks important? Why not 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 weeks? You know, why 3 weeks specifically? But they're talking about, say, for example, Croatia, because Croatia is one of the countries that's least affected compared to a lot of other countries in that around. Now, I'm sure it's still affected, but not as much. Again, I'm only going by what Kubrat Pulev's manager is saying. So I don't know whether or not it's factual. I don't follow this kind of thing too much outside of the UK. But why 3 weeks though? I mean, what will happen if they don't get something sorted in 3 weeks? Is there some kind of punishment for it from the IBF? Again, if it is a inflicted 3 weeks by the IBF, for example, then how can they do that when the whole world is still upside down on its head in that at the minute? Of course, some countries are getting back to somewhat normality, then they're getting like a second wave of it. And so it's very, very difficult to put any kind of timescale on it. So if it is the IBF that's put 3 weeks on it, I'll be interested to know why they put 3 weeks on. If they haven't, why have they given themselves 3 weeks? Is there a punishment? Would AJ get stripped if they don't come up with a solution? That would seem pretty harsh if that was the case, right? I really don't know. Would it go back to a purse bid situation? So the winner of the purse bid will then be solely responsible for putting on the show rather than everyone just working together. Maybe Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn not really singing from the same hymn sheet. Don't know. But either way, it's curious as to why they have a 3-week deadline. Very interesting. I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with something anyway. It does appear that the Roman Amphitheatre in Croatia does seem to be the front runner. But if Eddie Hearn, Joshua, Bob Arum and whoever else is involved is looking for as much revenue as they possibly can, which of course they would, then I mean, UK is not an ideal situation because we're still not allowed crowds at an event. So the only people who are allowed to go at the events, which is what I've done a separate video on before, which is all like the new rules. Crowds and that are not allowed. Even media are not allowed except for those, for example, like Sky Sports. They will be the only ones who are allowed at the Joshua and Pulev, and of course maybe at ESPN, or maybe you can't have ESPN because they're abroad. I mean, I'm sure they'll work something out, but anyway, who knows what's going to go on. So 3-week deadline, why is it? If you guys know, drop your thoughts below in the comment section. If you don't, and you've got your own assumptions, again, drop them in the comment section below. Make sure you are subscribed, click the thumbs up if you don't mind, and of course, be safe. Catch you all on the next video.